Okay, my esteemed visitor is still here with me, and we want to conclude on this issue of trying to demystify the components that have to do with homosexuality as a puzzle for the African culture, but also for the entire world. I was asking you a question, perhaps in conclusion, what would be your response towards a redress for people who have neither affiliation or interest in theology, to be precise, in design in terms of intelligent design in terms of God, or spirituality of sorts, whether Hindu. I know we make several quotations in this book in terms of the different aspects of what the scriptures talk about, what they say in terms of the issue of homosexuality. We all know about Sodom and Gomorrah and the likes. But then there are free thinkers and people like the likes of Stephen Hawking and people like Albert Einstein, the great thinkers of the world in terms of science, who maybe are better associated with metaphysics and things to do with the Big Bang than even theology or traditional methods of approach. What would be your response in terms of a justification for this issue of homosexuality?
Well, when you look at the natural law, considering the order and pattern of the metaphysics of everything, people have to coexist horizontally with each other, then diagonally with nature, and then vertically with the trust with the Most High Being. You may call him God or divine, if you may like. Well, these work hand in hand to make sure that the world goes, to make sure that the earth keeps on moving forward. If there is an imbalance, then there is going to be a problem. So you talked about objectophilia, whereby someone expresses their object sexuality towards a certain object. You made allusion to the case of the Eiffel Tower, where a lady married the Eiffel Tower. Well, now, when you look at Thomas Nagel's arguments, he talks about personal arousal. He brings out the argument of personal feelings, or the personal expressions between different people, in that in coexisting, different people display their emotions. Well, now, if that lady would, of course, she does it out of love, that she loves the Eiffel Tower. Can the Eiffel Tower reciprocate? Can it also express the same feelings she expresses towards it? Definitely it would be no. So what would happen if she would maybe like to have like intercourse with it? Maybe if you're to consider the aspect of maybe procreation, what would happen? Because fine, it might be argued that not all sexual contact is procreative. Well, there you can make reference to that different isolated cases, as they may propound that, look, there are people who are sterile because of biology, they cannot give birth. Maybe they have hit their menopause. So what would be maybe the question would be, what would be your response towards such a setting? That in as much as they're engaging in heterosexual activity, they cannot still bear kids rather, they cannot procreate. So my reply would be, in as much as the biology is against them, we have seen isolated cases where people have gone ahead to get surrogates, in that you get maybe an egg from the carrier mother, and then you maybe inseminate it, and then a child is born. So that indicates interest of this particular couple, despite it being biologically not able to maybe procreate. It shows that there is interest to procreate, pointing to the fact that it is very important for the order and pattern of this world to continue. in that without procreation, there would be an imbalance. When you check out in the books, the research shows that in China, the population is on a free fall, in that it's not balancing up. The people coming into the world are less compared to the people going out of the world. Same thing with Japan, during the bombings which happened, which took out people's lives.
Yes.
A lot of people died compared to the people who were coming into the world. So to me, all these factors have to coexist and work hand in hand. One cannot work against the other. Absolutely. If that is to happen, then it would collapse.
Absolutely. So this a kind of ecosystem where the world is dependent upon one another. Exactly. I think that's probably the greatest message to whoever we want to argue in terms of a logical point of view of this ideology of homosexuality. So I think the point you make here is that whereas we're saying it's their right, or it's anybody's right to do as they claim they want to do, maybe the better position would be not enforce it on other people. Perhaps not even put monetary connotations to it, because when you do that, you are, especially to African countries, which almost the entire budgets are funded by foreign entities, you are actually indirectly forcing people to do acts that they don't really believe in the very first place. Yes. And the moment you die and stop giving them the money, they will go back to the normal things. So that begs the question, perhaps, of even what's happening now. We had individuals, in terms of religious leaders, who have come out with sweeping statements, and they're saying, if you don't give us tithe and offerings, we'll take the money that the gays are giving to us. Those are interesting arguments, because then you clearly know where they are going. And Africans can be very good, by the way, when it comes to soliciting money. They'll do anything as long as they want to get the money from you. I'm told there are people who actually are paid to do those acts, and then they send the videos abroad and they're paid over that, because I think they've seen that Africa is a hard place to break when it comes to some of those entities. So I think that's the debate. What else would you want to say from your discovery out of this book that you think is relevant for our viewers, and as a scholar, as a legal scholar, and also as a future brain of this country? What else would you think is necessary that we may have left out in terms of a conclusion by way of to our audience?
Well, in conclusion, this discussion has been able to delve and briefly highlight what is in this book. Though we have omitted to look at the different interpretations when it comes to religion, and maybe the atheist interpretation, people don't believe in God. But all arguments lead to one place, and maintain the stronghold that religion is against homosexuality, despite the uncoordinated positions from various religious leaders. To be specific, Pope Francis, where he comes out to say that these gay people have their rights and that they deserve a chance to practice marriage whatsoever. However, this attracts hostility towards it from the religious dominations in East Africa and then Africa at large. To be specific, Archbishop Kazimba comes out and maintains his stronghold against homosexuality in solidarity with other religious dominations which hold the same and similar position.
Perhaps the begging question now would be, if you are the president of this country and the bill has been brought to you, you are sent to it, the next day it is thrown to the High Court or the Supreme Court, the Constitutional Court, and it is thrown out. Yes. What remedies do you have as a country or as a president? You are the Attorney General. The president has come to you and said, listen, you are the Attorney General, you are the master of the law. What remedies do we have? This thing has been thrown out. Well, can I proclaim a decree? Can I rule by decree? Can I just make a proclamation? What options do I have?
Actually, from the legal point of view, I think we are far beyond decrees and proclamations.
It happened in COVID time. The president made a proclamation that, by 9, all cars should not be moving. What happened? The next day, at that very night, cars were impounded. You remember?
True.
Yes.
It happened. But now, these are...
And no one challenged him in court by
these
that.
are sensitive matters. There are matters to do with different people's human rights. So what I would rather propose is, when you look at our constitution, Uganda is it is not it's a secular state in terms of religion, in that we don't have one specific religion.
Right.
True. So this means that if there is a possibility that if we had at least a religion we are subscribing to as a country in recognition of other religions, let's say we can have Christianity and then recognize Islam, or the vice versa alongside other religions, in that we have a religious force in place in our constitution to the effect that if a petition is before court, court has in mind what the religious view is, or what religion holds. For example, if you look at countries which have one religion, let's say Qatar, Saudi Arabia, these issues are actually very limited. To bring it home, just on the continent, when you look at Nigeria, it is a secular state. There is Islam is the state religion, but Christianity is thriving. There are churches there. So if each time a judge is interpreting the law and he makes reference, or he alludes to the fact that this is the religious position, then I think it would actually further or better the fight against homosexuality.
Well, that is a loose string for the president to hang on. I don't know, if, Mr. President, if you're listening, I'm not sure whether this would be the next Attorney General you want to appoint, because he's arguing in terms of narrowing down to religious affiliations. Perhaps he subscribes to the natural school of law, and now jurisprudence should be interpreted in terms of natural school of law rather than other. Then legal readers will say, wait a minute, how about us? Because we have to interpret law in terms of a changing society, not so. Yes. And I think Roscoe Pound also said law must be, it must be still, but it should also be constant in terms of its stillness. So those are arguments that are interesting for us to debate. We'll have further and better particulars on another day. I'm very impressed by my young man here. We are mentoring at the Sui Generis, emporium of sorts, where these are the new brains of tomorrow. So by name, sir, we want to be on record so that, you don't want to say your name. You may fear, say, by the way, by mention of my name. Are you comfortable? If you're not comfortable, it's okay.
Let's measure the status.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for your good research and for the great work you've been doing for the Sui Generis.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.